In the heart of Africa, where red dust danced in the wind, a boy named Kofi was born in a tiny mud hut. The walls cracked with every storm, and the roof leaked with every rain. His family survived on almost nothing, yet they held on to fragile hope. Nights were long, filled with the sound of an empty stomach crying. But even in that darkness, young Kofi dreamed of a brighter future. He imagined a life where hunger would no longer haunt his family. It was the kind of dream so big, it seemed impossible to everyone but him. Each morning, Kofi walked miles barefoot to a school that was falling apart. The roof leaked, the walls crumbled, and the books were torn. His classmates mocked his ragged clothes, but he stayed focused. He believed that education was the only door out of poverty. His teacher, noticing his determination, gave him old books to study. Under the dim light of a kerosene lamp, Kofi read every word carefully. He whispered to himself, "One day, I will rise above this life." Tragedy struck when Kofi's father passed away, leaving the family with nothing but debts. The grief was heavy, but his mother's words gave him strength. "Son, poverty is not a curse. It is a test. Pass it, and you will shine." Those words burned into his heart like fire. To survive, Kofi started selling fruit at the market. He saved every coin, resisting the temptation to spend. Even as a teenager, he believed every small step mattered. At the marketplace, Kofi noticed something others ignored. Farmers had plenty of crops, but no way to transport them to the city. Their harvest spoiled, and their hard work went to waste. Kofi's sharp eyes saw not a problem, but an opportunity. With his small savings, he bought an old bicycle. He began carrying baskets of tomatoes and cassava to town. The work was grueling, but his honesty earned him trust. Word spread quickly that Kofi was reliable and fair. Farmers trusted him with their goods, and buyers trusted his honesty. What began with one bicycle grew into a small delivery service. He hired other boys, creating a network of bicycles. Step by step, his vision expanded beyond the market stalls. For the first time, Kofi felt the weight of change in his hands. The boy who once starved was now feeding entire communities. By the age of 22, Kofi expanded into trucks for larger deliveries. He convinced farmers to work with him directly, cutting out greedy middlemen. For the first time, farmers received fair prices for their crops. Families in the city bought fresh produce at lower costs. Kofi's company was not just business, it was a bridge of fairness. He had turned a simple bicycle into a growing empire of trust. The boy from the hut was slowly building a legacy. Kofi worked tirelessly, expanding his fleet from one truck to many. He reinvested every profit back into the business. While others chased luxury, he chased opportunity. He dreamed of a day when no farmer's harvest would go to waste. Communities began to see him not just as a businessman, but as a leader. His network stretched across villages, towns, and regions. From dust and sweat, an empire was beginning to rise. At 25, Kofi was already a millionaire, but he remained humble. He still ate simple meals, still walked among his people. Instead of a mansion, he built schools for children. Instead of sports cars, he built clinics for the sick. His measure of success was not luxury but impact. To him, wealth was not what you keep, it was what you give. And that belief made him stand apart from all others. Kofi invested in technology that changed farming forever. He brought solar-powered irrigation to villages suffering from drought. The land that once lay barren now bloomed with life. Harvests doubled, hunger declined, and hope returned. Farmers no longer feared the sky, they trusted the soil again. And at the center of it all was the boy who once starved. Kofi was proving that true wealth multiplies when shared. As his vision expanded, investors from across Africa noticed him. Soon, global companies wanted to partner with him. He entered the world of exports, sending African produce worldwide. His brand became a symbol of honesty and quality. From New York to London, people knew his name. Magazines wrote about the boy from the hut who became a giant. But Kofi never let fame change the humility in his heart. Kofi's influence reached the highest offices in Africa. Leaders invited him to discuss food security and youth empowerment. He reminded them that a single opportunity could transform a life. His speeches inspired thousands of young people to dream bigger. He stood not as a politician, but as proof of possibility. The boy from the hut became a voice for the voiceless. And everywhere he spoke, hope followed like a shadow. Kofi expanded into building warehouses with cold storage systems. This simple innovation stopped millions of tons of food from rotting. Farmers could now sell produce even months after harvest. Families could afford fresh food year-round, not just seasonally. He turned a fragile supply chain into a fortress of stability. Every warehouse felt like a monument to his vision. What others ignored, he transformed into opportunity. But success did not come without enemies. Jealous rivals tried to sabotage his trucks and contracts. They mocked him for being just a villager with big dreams. Yet, Kofi responded not with anger, but with excellence. He doubled down on honesty and hard work. His resilience silenced critics more powerfully than words ever could. He proved that integrity was the greatest weapon in business. At 30, Kofi entered the energy sector. He brought affordable solar power to villages trapped in darkness. Children could study at night, shops could stay open, clinics could save lives. Electricity was no longer a luxury but a right. For the first time, the stars in the sky weren't the only lights villagers saw. Communities lit up with laughter and progress. Kofi had turned darkness into opportunity. His name began to echo across the world stage. Global media called him the African dream. Young entrepreneurs looked up to him as proof that success was possible. In interviews, he always credited his mother's wisdom. She told me poverty was a test, and I passed it. The world saw his billions, but he saw his beginnings. He never forgot the boy who read under a kerosene lamp. Kofi created a scholarship fund for poor children. Thousands received free education and the chance he once fought for. Every graduation ceremony felt like a personal victory. He clapped the loudest, proud of the seeds he planted. These children were his true legacy, not the billions in his bank. He believed knowledge was the most powerful wealth. And he made sure no child was denied it.